51 Chapter 51 The Amethyst Toxic Dragon's Counterattack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 51 The Amethyst Toxic Dragon's Counterattack. While Lu Yu and Yun Zirou were still debating whether or not to escape, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon broke out of the ground and charged toward them in the blink of an eye. Lu Yu hurriedly raised his claws and entered into a battle stance. Yun Zirou took 2 steps back and prepared to cast a crowd control skill. The Amethyst Toxic Dragon let out an angry roar at Lu Yu. Roar. Along with its angry roar, countless drops of poisonous liquid sprayed out like torrential rain, washing toward the two of them. Lu Yu roughly estimated the range and speed of the poisonous liquid gushing toward them and realized that he could dodge it. However, it was difficult for Yun Zirou. Lu Yu did not hesitate and directly rushed toward Yun Zirou. "Stay behind me. I'll help you block the poison." Yun Zirou was originally worried about how she would dodge the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's AoE attack. Seeing that Lu Yu took the initiative to come over, she nodded without hesitation. Yun Zirou reminded him, "If you can't withstand the poison attack, I still have an antidote here." Lu Yu nodded and said, "Don't worry, your antidote won't be of any use." A moment later, the wave of poison slammed into them. Seeing this, Yun Zirou hurriedly half-squatted down and hugged Lu Yu's sturdy waist with both hands. Lu Yu began to activate his skill, Dragon Scales. On top of the original small scales on his arm grew new scales shaped like melon seeds. The new dragon scales were dark gold in color. It was shiny and pure, without a single flaw. After covering his defense, Lu Yu activated his skill, Flaming Claws. The Flaming Claws skill had 2 forms, one was a large-scale firestorm, and the other was a small-scale flaming claw attack. Lu Yu swung his claws, and a wave of flames was released, expanding in the surroundings. Yun Zirou felt a tinge of heat. She looked up and was surprised. "This scale, this claw. You have a dragon claw." Yun Zirou exclaimed. She scanned her surroundings and realized she was at the center of a flaming storm. As for the large area of poisonous liquid, it instantly evaporated and turned into a purple mist after landing on the flaming storm. As the poisonous liquid was being burned, it emitted a sizzling sound. In just a short while, the wave of toxic liquid evaporated into smoke. Once the poison evaporated and disappeared, the raging inferno storm also ended. Lu Yu did not need to keep casting this raging inferno storm. After all, such a large-scale damage skill would not greatly affect a boss with such high health. At most, it would have a burning effect that would continue to shave off its health. At that moment, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon suffered from the aforementioned burning effect. The intense pain caused it to let out a roar, but very quickly, it endured the pain and charged toward Lu Yu. Seeing this, Lu Yu felt his chest tighten. This dragon was about to activate its skill, Bite. This creature had a lot of long-range attacks. There was no need for it to engage in close combat at all. It could deal with most of its enemies just by spitting out poison. It dared to charge toward Lu Yu now because it wanted to activate its skill, Bite. Lu Yu had no intention of taking damage that could bypass his armor. Even though he could endure it, it would not feel good. Hence, Lu Yu placed his hands in front of his chest and prepared to use his skill, Strong Wall. At that moment, Yun Zirou, who was hiding behind Lu Yu, saw the Amethyst Toxic Dragon charging toward them. She panicked. She got worried when she saw that Lu Yu was prepared to take it head-on. Following that, she opened her eyes wide and prepared to use her Eye of Illusion again. However, when she opened her eyes wide, she saw that the Amethyst Toxic Dragon had closed its eyes and was charging toward them that way. As expected, this beast would not fall for it a second time. Yun Zirou continued to activate her Eye of Illusion, but the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's eyelids only twitched for a moment and still did not open. Yun Zirou gritted her teeth and said, "This beast's resistance is too strong." Then, she squatted beside Lu Yu's ear and tried to persuade him, "Quickly get out of the way. Don't take this guy's attack head-on." Previously, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's tail swept over Lu Yu and sent him flying, causing quite a bit of damage. Now that this monster was charging over aggressively, its attack was definitely not weaker than the previous attack. However, Lu Yu shook his head slightly and rejected her. "Don't worry, I can take it head-on." Yun Zirou was a little puzzled. She did not know where Lu Yu's confidence came from, but she still chose to believe and continued to stand behind Lu Yu. as Lu Yu's speed was not as fast as the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's, it was very difficult for him to dodge its attack. However, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon closed its eyes under the effect of Yun Zirou's Eye of Illusion. This supposedly created an opportunity for Lu Yu to dodge. However, Lu Yu did not choose to dodge. If he dodged, Yun Zirou behind him might be unable to get out unscathed. The next moment, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's blood-stained jaw opened, and its densely packed sharp teeth bit into Lu Yu. At that moment, Lu Yu activated his skill, Strong Wall, blocking 90% of the damage for a short period of time. With the defense of his dragon scales, he could completely block the dragon's bite without taking any damage. The Amethyst Toxic Dragon opened its jaws wide and swallowed Lu Yu's entire body. When it bit down hard, a crisp sound was heard. A layer of barrier appeared on Lu Yu's body and blocked the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's sharp fangs. A moment later, Lu Yu's Strong Wall skill disappeared. He immediately activated his dragon skill, Flaming Claw, and slashed towards the depths of the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's throat. Lu Yu's claws gathered white-hot flames. The moment he swung his claws, bright and superheated flames instantly shot out, filling the entire jaw of the Amethyst Toxic Dragon. The intense high temperature and the sharp slash caused the Amethyst Toxic Dragon to howl in pain as it retreated. It shook its head frantically, trying to get rid of the flames in its mouth. At the same time, blood spewed out from the wounds created by the claw attacks. The Amethyst Toxic Dragon's jaw was now a bloody mess. Lu Yu did not give the Amethyst Toxic Dragon a chance. He waved his claws and charged toward it. When the Amethyst Toxic Dragon saw Lu Yu charging toward it, it immediately endured the pain and prepared to fight again. Just as Lu Yu was about to reach it, a ball of poison started pooling in the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's jaw. Following that, a powerful jet of poison shot from its jaws like a high-pressure water gun. By the time Lu Yu reacted, it was already too late. Under the high pressure, the speed of the poison was extremely fast, much faster than Lu Yu's movement speed. Moreover, Lu Yu had caused great damage to the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's jaw just now. It gave Lu Yu the sense of a false illusion that this dragon wouldn't use its jaws to spew poison anymore. The poison sprayed over and directly onto Lu Yu's entire body. The poisonous liquid covered Lu Yu's entire body. Very soon, a sense of powerlessness washed over him, making Lu Yu's limbs weak. Following that, he felt that his consciousness was fading. His head was dizzy, and he felt he could pass out at any moment. 52 Chapter 52 Seductive Dance Moves. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 52 Seductive Dance Moves. Lu, who had been poisoned, felt unprecedented powerlessness. His entire body felt weak, and he did not even have the strength to move. Yun Zirou looked at Lu Yu's weak appearance and was slightly worried. The enemy before them had not been dealt with, and now Lu Yu had lost his fighting strength. They were in a perilous situation. Right then, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon charged toward Lu Yu again, ignoring its bleeding and injured jaw. Seeing this, Yun Zirou rushed forward without hesitation. She grabbed Lu Yu's arm and pulled him out of the pool of poison. She stood in front of Lu Yu. She conjured a few fireballs, and her eyes changed into the Eye of Illusion. At that moment, she absolutely could not escape. If she tried to escape, she would definitely die. If she could do her best to protect Lu Yu and give him time to regain his senses, there was still hope for them to survive. When the Amethyst Toxic Dragon saw that Yun Zirou had got into a battle stance, it hesitated for a moment and did not continue to move forward. Perhaps it was because of the intense pain from the severe injuries that it forgot to close its eyes at that moment. When its eyes met Yun Zirou's, Yun Zirou activated her Eye of Illusion and successfully trapped the Amethyst Toxic Dragon into an illusion. At that moment, the Amethyst Toxic Dragon's body was frozen again, giving Yun Zirou 3 more minutes. Her combat ability was slightly weaker because she had a strong crowd control talent. It was impossible for her to kill the Amethyst Toxic Dragon in these 3 minutes. She could only place her hopes in Lu Yu. If she could help Lu Yu detoxify in these 3 minutes, the two of them would have a chance to fight back. Thus, she came to Lu Yu's side. How do you feel now? Let me give you the antidote. Lu Yu was extremely weak at the moment and only nodded slightly. Yun Zirou took out a bottle of antidote from her storage ring. She lifted Lu Yu's head to let him drink the antidote. after waiting for 10 to 20 seconds, Zirou did not notice any signs of improvement in Lu Yu. He was still weak and powerless. Zirou frowned slightly. She felt that perhaps the antidote she had brought was too weak and could not get rid of the amethyst toxic dragon's venom. Lu Yu shook his head slightly. This antidote is useless against me. You should run if my condition doesn't improve in 3 minutes. Lu Yu still had the life-saving skill that he had not used, although he wasn't sure if the activation of his life-saving skill would remove the adverse effects on him, but at least it gave him a glimmer of hope. Moreover, he still had Yin and Yen twin flower. This flower could revive Lu Yu whenever he was in a low-health state. This god-tier item could definitely remove the negative effects. But Lu Yu didn't really want to use this item this early. I still have many ways to protect myself. Why don't you run away first? Lu Yu said weakly. Zirou had mixed feelings as he did not want to leave without Lu Yu. She would feel terrible if all 3 of her teammates lost their lives because of her. Then, she seemed to have made up her mind. Lu Yu, I have a way to detoxify you. But, you might not like it. When Lu Yu heard this, he was speechless. So you do have a way to detoxify me. What's there to not like? It's more important that I stay alive. Zirou nodded shyly. I have a boost skill I've never used before. Today will be the first time I'm using it. Lu Yu felt she was acting strange, but getting detoxified was more important, so he didn't overthink it. Zirou stood up and reached a spot a little further in front of Lu Yu. Then, she began to move her graceful body. Her seductive, thin waist was incredibly alluring as she tried her best to dance. Zirou did a strange dance. Her moving body was magical to Lu Yu, as he couldn't keep his gaze off her. Seeing Lu Yu's fixed gaze, Zirou's face flushed red. She was not used to doing such a flirtatious act. But in order to save him, she had no choice but to do so. Then, she chanted a series of mysterious incantations. As the chants entered Lu Yu's ears, a surge of energy began to rise in him. Coupled with Zirou's incredibly sexy figure, Lu Yu's heart began to beat faster. Having such a scene of the young lady of the Yun family dancing in front of him was probably the dream of countless men. At that moment, Lu Yu's blood was boiling. As expected of a charm-type talent, even the buff skills were this enchanting. Lu Yu started coughing energetically. To his surprise, he found that he was feeling refreshed. The powerlessness from before was swept away. The most important thing was that his limbs were full of vitality again. He could fight again. Lu Yu hurriedly stood up and unsheathed his claws, looking back at the amethyst toxic dragon. Zirou, who was beside him, finally stopped dancing when she saw Lu Yu standing up. She heaved a sigh of relief. I've finally dispelled the effects of the poison. Now, let us take care of this boss. Lu Yu was still reminiscing about the dance and could not help but look at Zirou again. Zirou noticed Lu Yu's gaze, and her face immediately flushed even redder. She felt extremely ashamed at that moment. In the eyes of outsiders, she was the high and mighty young lady of the Yun family. Elegance alone was not enough to describe how she carried herself on a daily basis. However, she had awakened such a talent. She was dancing flirtatiously and showing off her perfect figure in front of a man she had only known for a short time. What she did just now made her so ashamed that she wanted to forget this memory. Stop looking at me. It's time to fight. Zirou said softly, her tone much gentler than before. Lu Yu quickly retracted his gaze and looked at the amethyst toxic dragon. He coughed twice and said, I'm just curious. You only danced briefly and chanted a short incantation, yet you have cast such a powerful effect on me. At that moment, a progress bar appeared in front of Lu Yu's eyes. Ox power, progress, 1000 out of 10. Tiger power, progress, 100 out of 10. Elephant power, progress, 10 out of 10. Dragon power, progress, 1/1. Lu Yu recalled the method of obtaining dragon power when he awakened his dragon muscles. 10 ox power equals 1 tiger power, 10 tiger power equals 1 elephant power, and 10 elephant power equals 1 dragon power. In other words, the buff that Zirou had cast had helped Lu Yu accumulate 1 full dragon power. Lu Yu could finally use the dragon fist skill. With this instant one-hit kill skill, wouldn't it be easy to kill the amethyst toxic dragon now? Lu Yu looked at Zirou with gratitude and said, thank you so much for the boost you gave me just now. Leave the rest to me. Hearing Lu Yu's words of gratitude, Zirou's face revealed a smile, and the shame she felt just now was swept away. 53 Chapter 53 Completed Subjection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 53 Completed Subjection. Lu had accumulated 1 dragon power in his body. Now, he could release his dragon fist skill. However, the amethyst toxic dragon in front of him was almost at the end of its tether. Releasing his dragon fist now was a little overkill. Lu Yu raised his left fist and, without saying a word, threw a punch at his feet. Just as Zirou was puzzled, Lu Yu's right arm released a clean, transparent water ball. The water ball exploded and washed over Lu Yu's body, washing away the remaining poison on his body. At the same time, it cleaned up the pool of blood around him. Seeing this, Zirou was a little surprised. I didn't expect you to have a water element attack. That it was normal for Zirou to be surprised. Most people were usually focused on controlling one element. It was extremely rare for someone like Lu Yu to control 2 elements, one of which was water and the other fire. Lu Yu just smiled faintly. 1 more element means 1 more possibility. Next, let's hunt this beast down. Lu Yu brandished his claws and charged toward the amethyst toxic dragon. At this moment, the amethyst toxic dragon was still in an illusory state, but it was different from the last time. This time, the amethyst toxic dragon was trembling all over. The last time, it stood completely still. It seemed that the wound that Lu Yu had just inflicted had affected the control effect. However, this was no longer a problem. Lu Yu could already kill the amethyst toxic dragon in its current state. In an instant, Lu Yu dashed to the front of the amethyst toxic dragon. Following that, he activated his grappling skill. In an instant, Lu Yu saw through all the flaws in the amethyst toxic dragon's body. The next moment, Lu Yu swung his claws with all his might, slashing toward the amethyst toxic dragon's neck. This claw attack directly tore through the hide on the amethyst toxic dragon's neck. Several huge gashes were made in its flesh directly this time. Most importantly, Lu Yu had accurately sliced open its carotid artery, causing fresh blood to gush like a fountain. The intense pain caused the amethyst toxic dragon to break free from its control and let out an anguished cry. Fresh blood continued to gush out, showing no signs of stopping. Lu Yu hurriedly checked the amethyst toxic dragon's health and discovered that it was continuously decreasing, dropping to around 200 health. As long as he continued to attack, he would be able to kill this dragon. Lu Yu charged forward once more and quickly swung his pair of dragon claws. Suddenly, the amethyst toxic dragon spread its wings and let out an ear-piercing cry. Lu Yu had no choice but to stop sprinting and quickly cover his ears. At that moment, Lu Yu saw that a thin layer of purple crystal had started to reappear on the surface of the amethyst toxic dragon's body. The crystal that appeared on its neck directly sealed the wound. The wound that was initially bleeding profusely was sealed tightly. Lu Yu was a little surprised. This beast had stored the amethyst crystal in its body so it could put on its defense again at the last moment. It seemed that this was the last trump card of the amethyst toxic dragon. This greatly increased the difficulty of killing it. Lu Yu opened the amethyst toxic dragon's attribute panel. Its defense was continuously rising, from a single digit to 300 points. Lu Yu got tired just looking at the return 300 points of defense. He now needed to break through its armor again. At that moment, the amethyst toxic dragon had already lost its will to fight. After adorning back its armor, it hurriedly turned around and wanted to escape. This was its last life-saving measure. It no longer dared to fight for fear of losing. Just as it turned around to escape, Lu Yu rushed forward again and used armor penetration. This time, Lu Yu's claws slashed at the amethyst toxic dragon's crystal armor, but there was no effect at all. Lu Yu was a little surprised. Did his armor penetration skill lose its effect? He quickly activated a second armor penetration skill. The second armor penetration skill was activated and struck the amethyst toxic dragon's back again. However, the result was still useless. Other than some sparks, the skill had no effect at all. Lu Yu looked at the interface and found that the amethyst toxic dragon's armor value was still 300 points. It had not decreased at all. He felt helpless. He didn't expect this last crystal armor of the dragon could ignore his armor penetration skill. At that moment, although the Amethyst toxic dragon was still escaping, its movements were abnormally slow. The continuous battle just now, coupled with its heavy injuries, caused its slow movement. It no longer had any extra stamina to run, let alone flap its wings and take off. Suddenly, Zirou noticed the abnormality in his actions and asked loudly, "Are you unable to break its defense?" Lu Yu quickly replied, "That's right. My current attack could only deal 10 to 20 damage to it if I can't break its armor, dealing damage slower than its recovery speed." Zirou frowned slightly. They couldn't let the boss escape at this juncture, or it would be a huge loss. "Let me help you with a boost. It will increase your attack power, and you should be able to complete the kill." Hearing that, Lu Yu jumped down from the Amethyst toxic dragon. "Is that so? Hurry up and strengthen me. All I want is to finish this fight." Zirou waved her hands and started to cast spells. Soon, an energy ball flashed into Lu Yu's body. Instantly, Lu Yu felt an unprecedented sense of power in his body. All the muscles in his body had expanded and become abnormally hard. Zirou hurriedly explained, "The strengthening skill I just used is hardening. It can amplify your strength and increase your attack power. From the looks of it, your attack power should receive a 10% increase." Lu Yu's attack power was now 330, so a 10% increase would be equivalent to 33 points. The Amethyst toxic dragon's current defense was 300. In other words, Lu Yu's current attack could deal over 60 damage to it. After deducting the health it regains, Amethyst toxic dragon, each attack deals around 50 damage due to its natural regen. The Amethyst toxic dragon's current health was less than 300. All he needed was to attack another 4 or 5 times, which would be enough to end this battle. After some calculations, Lu Yu became motivated and again charged toward the Amethyst toxic dragon. After a short sprint, Lu Yu leapt onto the Amethyst toxic dragon's back. Then, Lu Yu swung his claws crazily and started to attack the Amethyst toxic dragon's body. The Amethyst toxic dragon felt the pain and quickly fell to the ground. It crazily shook its body, trying to fling Lu Yu away from its body. Lu Yu jumped down and slashed once more at the back of the Amethyst toxic dragon 3 or 4 times. Blood was flowing everywhere the crystal armor did not cover. After the Amethyst toxic dragon struggled for a while, its movements gradually slowed. In the end, it slowly stopped moving. Lu Yu went forward to check, and when he found that it had lost its life force, he could not help but sigh with relief. "Phew, I finally got rid of this beast." Zirou quickly ran over. When she saw the Amethyst toxic dragon's corpse, she could not help but cheer. "Great, the battle is finally over. We won." At this moment, Lu Yu turned his head to look at Zirou. His gaze couldn't be shifted away anymore. His boost effect wasn't over yet, with his energy still surging. Adding that to the hardening effect caused his entire body to stiffen. Looking back at Zirou, he saw her wearing this extremely seductive, slightly see-through onesie. For a moment, the atmosphere became awkward. 54 Chapter 54 Secret Realm Reward. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 54 Secret Realm Reward. With the hardening effect and the boost effect that made one's blood boil, Lu Yu still felt restless even when the battle had ended. Even the way he looked at Zirou had changed. This subtle change made Zirou blush. She had cast the effect herself, so she naturally knew what kind of state Lu Yu was in. On the other hand, Lu Yu forcefully turned his head to the side and no longer looked at Zirou. After all, she was the daughter of a prominent family. If he could not resist and rushed over, he would probably not be able to stay in this area anymore, much less enter Clannorth University. Lu Yu looked at the Amethyst toxic dragon's corpse and said, "Finally, we've killed this beast. Go and save your followers. I'll take care of the corpse." Zirou nodded and turned around to open the teleportation door. After the battle, Zirou had some trust in Lu Yu. She handed the corpse to Lu Yu and went to save her teammates. Lu Yu squatted down beside the Amethyst toxic dragon's corpse, took out a dagger, and began to section the corpse. The useful parts would blink and flash in his eyes, indicating that Lu Yu should cut them. In the end, Lu Yu got 5 of the purest amethysts. Each of them was the size of a human head. These amethysts were classified as materials and could be used to make potions or equipment. Of course, they could also be directly embedded into existing equipment, which would be equivalent to enhancing the equipment. Lu Yu opened his eye of truth and looked at the amethysts in front of him. Toxic Dragon's Amethyst. When embedded in equipment, you will gain poison resistance. Embedding one crystal will increase your poison resistance by 5% and defense by 20 points. It seemed to be okay. If he were to embed all 5 crystals, he would gain 25% poison resistance. However, he did not need to embed so many amethyst crystals at once. It was best to leave some space for other types of crystals in the future. According to its introduction, there were other uses of the crystal, such as creating potions and equipment. However, they were all very ordinary and not worth creating. In general, the items dropped by this boss were very ordinary. Of course, the most important part was still the reward from the secret realm. This item would only be given when they leave the secret realm. Lu Yu was waiting for everyone to arrive before he left the secret realm. Soon, the teleportation door opened again. Zirou dragged 2 people out with great difficulty. The effect on Lu Yu's body finally disappeared a little, and he could look at Zirou again. At that moment, Zirou had already worn her blue robe again. Her alluring figure was once again covered. Lu Yu walked over and looked at Zirou. How are the 2 of them doing? Zirou sighed. One of them is poisoned, and the other is seriously injured. I've already given them some medicine. They should be able to recover soon. As soon as he finished speaking, Butler Lin took the lead and stood up. He bent his back and coughed twice. Phew, this beast is really fierce. It almost killed me. Then, he saw the amethyst toxic dragon's corpse not far away. You 2 actually succeeded in killing it. Zirou asked unhappily, what do you mean by that? You say it like we don't deserve to kill it. Butler Lin immediately laughed awkwardly. I really shouldn't say that, but the credit for killing the amethyst toxic dragon should be on Lu Yu, right? Zirou nodded awkwardly. You're right. If it weren't for Lu Yu, I probably wouldn't have had a chance to escape. Butler Lin said helplessly, if that's the case, then we don't have the right to fight for these spoils of war. He was surprised. His overall combat strength rating was much higher than Lu Yu's, but he was much weaker in actual combat. Perhaps it was because of his class. His main class was as a tank, so he was a protector. Therefore, although his rating was high, he didn't have any offensive capabilities in a real battle. At this time, Qing, who was beside Zirou, also woke up. When she saw the amethyst toxic dragon's corpse not far away, she heaved a sigh of relief. We have completed the kill. Zirou said to her with some excitement. Lu Yu looked at Zirou and said, without you, I think it would be very difficult for me to kill this boss. So, you should take some of this loot. Lu Yu took out 2 amethyst crystals as he spoke and handed them to Zirou. I removed these from the amethyst toxic dragon. Although it is a dragon, the materials on its body are very ordinary. Only these crystals are worth something. They are blue-grade materials. Zirou took the 2 crystals and carefully touched them. She could feel the energy contained within them. Embedding these things into your equipment can increase your poison resistance and defense. It's quite useful. As Lu Yu spoke, Zirou nodded her head in agreement. Thank you. I'll accept it then. At that moment, a brand new array formation slowly emerged from the ground at the center of the existing array formations. After a new teleportation array formation appeared, the teleportation door opened immediately. After passing through this door, they could leave the secret realm and obtain the secret realm's rewards. Alright, let's leave the secret realm. Lu Yu led the way towards the teleportation gate, while Zirou and the other 2 followed behind. Butler Lin moved to Zirou's side and asked in a low voice, Miss, did you use your talents and skills during the battle? Zirou nodded slightly. Butler Lin had an ominous look on his face. It's very dangerous for an unknown man to see you wearing such clothes. He didn't do anything to you, did he? Zirou shook her head impatiently. Of course not. You don't have to worry. He's not a stranger, and we'll be friends from now on. As she said this, she revealed a faint smile. Hearing this, Butler Lin didn't say anything more. The four of them exited the secret realm together. After a flash of light, they appeared at the entrance of the secret realm. It was on the hillside where they found the secret realm. When they left the secret realm and returned to the outside world, they were all relieved. The battle they had just experienced was unforgettable and almost wiped out. At that moment, a panel appeared in front of the four of them, which recorded all kinds of data. Dungeon statistics. Highest damage dealt, Lu Yu. Highest damage received, Lu Yu. Highest magic damage dealt, Yun Zirou. Highest healing done, Lu Yu. Highest overall, Lu Yu. The first place will distribute secret realm rewards. Then, a golden ball of light landed in front of the four of them. Lu Yu stepped forward, and the ball of light instantly entered Lu Yu's storage ring. From this moment on, all the rewards of the secret realm had entered Lu Yu's ring. It belonged to Lu Yu. Whether or not it was to be distributed to the other three, it was all up to him. As for Butler Lin, he did not care if he could get the rewards or not. It would be fine if Lu Yu gave a little to Yun Zirou. Xiao Qing felt that the two of them had contributed and should get a little. However, the rules were set in stone. Even if Lu Yu did not share the rewards, they couldn't do anything about it. 55 Chapter 55 University Admission, Eye-Catching Yun Zirou. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 55 University Admission, Eye-Catching Yun Zirou. After Lu Yu received the reward from the secret realm, he quickly used his consciousness to enter his storage ring and began to check the reward. Amethyst Knee Guard, Blue, increases defense by 30 points, increases speed by 30 points. Amethyst Glove, Blue, increases attack by 40 points, increases speed by 10 points. Amethyst Badge, Blue, gains 10% poison resistance. Firefly Necklace, Blue, increases 50 mana points and doubles. The effect of skills. Golden Phoenix Wing Crown, Blue, gain 3 times control immunity and refresh once a day. Lu Yu's heart was racing just by looking at these 5 pieces of equipment. If he could equip all of them, his strength would increase hugely. Amongst them, 2 were worn-type equipment, and 3 were accessories. Moreover, all of them were of blue grade, and their attributes were not bad. Of course, what Lu Yu was most concerned about was this Golden Phoenix Wing Crown. It could actually provide 3 times immunity to crowd control. Although there was a cooldown time of a day, 3 times of immunity to crowd control was already splendid enough. This equipment was definitely the most valuable one. Lu Yu remembered that he had to give Yun Zirou at least a piece of equipment. After all, Yun Zirou had provided a lot of help during the battle. Otherwise, it would be difficult for Lu Yu to defeat this boss alone. With a glance, Lu Yu immediately found the most suitable equipment for Yun Zirou. Of course, it was the Firefly Necklace. Although this equipment's attribute bonus was only to the mana stat, the most important thing was that it doubled the effect of magic skills. Such a powerful buff was extremely compatible with Yun Zirou. Moreover, the Firefly Necklace also matched her aesthetic. Others would laugh at Lu Yu if he wore this necklace. Thus, Lu Yu took out this necklace from his storage ring. As soon as it appeared in Lu Yu's hand, Yun Zirou couldn't help but cover her mouth and exclaim in surprise. What a beautiful necklace! The pink necklace was shining brightly, emitting a dazzling light. It immediately attracted the attention of Yun Zirou and Xiao Qing. Xiao Qing was also a young girl, so she liked this kind of pink necklace. However, this didn't match her style as an assassin. Even if she wanted it, she would just stand aside and watch. Lu Yu walked to Yun Zirou and personally put on the necklace for her. The action of him putting on the necklace was like hugging her in his arms. This was the first time Yun Zirou got so close to Lu Yu. It made her lower her head shyly. After putting on the necklace, Lu Yu said, "Yup, it's very beautiful." "Well then, this necklace is yours. There are a total of 5 pieces of equipment. The rest are not suitable for you except for this." Yun Zirou nodded with a smile. "You've contributed the most, so you deserve it. As for my butler and maid, they don't need to take part in the rewards." Butler Lin laughed when he heard that. "The 2 of us barely did anything. Of course, these pieces of equipment should be shared between the 2 of you." Lu Yu nodded slightly and looked at the canyon in the distance. "Next, let's head towards Clanorth University together." Lu Yu took the lead and walked forward. Zirou followed closely behind with an unconcealable smile on her face. Danger was everywhere in the dark canyon. Although the wild beasts here were not as ferocious as those in the secret realm, they were still something. The four walked along the canyon, occasionally stopping to deal with the beasts that ambushed them. Soon, they arrived at the canyon's end and began to walk uphill. The beasts around them also began to decrease. From the looks of it, only the middle part of the canyon had. Most of the beasts, when they were about to walk out of the canyon, they suddenly found a teleportation circle in front of them. They walked toward the formation. The design of the formation was exquisite and complicated. All kinds of symbols and patterns were crisscrossed and arranged in an ancient style. Then, they saw a sign next to it. Entrance of Clanorth University. Please use the admission letter to enter the teleportation gate. Lu Yu read it out. Then, he and Zirou took out the admission letter together. The admission letter was emitting a faint light, and its energy seemed to correspond to the formation. Soon, a wave of energy rose from the teleportation formation, and the energy spread out to form a portal. Zirou turned her head and looked at Butler Lin. You two can go back now. Only those who have the admission letter can enter this portal. Roger, miss. Remember that when you are in school, you must inform us immediately if you encounter any trouble. Zirou nodded. Don't worry. I will. Hearing that, Butler Lin turned around and left with Xiao Qing. Then, Lu Yu and Zirou walked into the portal together. When the portal closed, the two of them were teleported to another unknown area. When Lu Yu opened his eyes again, he saw a magnificent, ancient-looking building in front of him. The entire building complex was extremely large, comparable to a small town. A few people in suits at the grand entrance welcomed the new students. Around them was a large, dense forest. Despite being here, they did not know the exact location. Zirou looked at the magnificent building in front of her and exclaimed, "What a beautiful building! Is this our school?" Lu Yu nodded slightly and praised it too. The styles of the other schools are very modern. As the #1 university in the country, it wouldn't be easy to maintain a traditional style. Zirou nodded in agreement. Then, the two of them walked into the gate. When they passed the corridor in front of the door, the other first-year students couldn't help but look over. Their gazes were all attracted to Zirou, and they couldn't take their eyes off her. What a beautiful girl. Looks like she's also a freshman. If there's a chance, I might be able to hook up with her. She's the daughter of the Yun family. Don't even dream about it. Other than the children of prominent families in Ixtale, no one else is worthy of her. Damn, she's coming from such a strong background. It looks like there's no hope. Look, there seems to be a man next to her. He's quite handsome. A few freshmen not far away looked at Lu Yu in unison. When they saw that Zirou was walking close to Lu Yu while the two were chatting and laughing, the crowd instantly felt sour. Hey, are they already together? They really look like a couple. Who is this guy? I don't know. I don't even know him. Could he be from some obscure family? Haha. But anyone that Zirou likes shouldn't be ordinary. Lu Yu and Zirou ignored the discussions of others and walked into the main entrance together. At that moment, a middle-aged man walked over with a respectful smile. You're finally here. Come over here. I'll arrange for your admission. The receptionist for new recruits said with a friendly smile. Zirou naturally thought that the other party was talking to her. After all, she was the daughter of a large family, while Lu Yu, who was standing next to her, was just an ordinary person. However, the receptionist directly ignored Zirou and looked at Lu Yu with a face full of anticipation. 56 Chapter 56 The Strongest Privilege of a New Student. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 56 The Strongest Privilege of a New Student. Zirou walked up to the receptionist and said, "Take me to arrange admission." She said this naturally as if this was normal. The receptionist glanced at Zirou. Just find the room according to the assigned number. Do you really need me to arrange it for you? Zirou was stunned by the receptionist's question. Weren't you talking to me just now? I'm the eldest daughter of the Yun family in Cloud City. The receptionist rubbed his chin and said, Really? That's really impressive. Please head on in and let me have a good talk with this gentleman. The receptionist's attitude improved after knowing that Yun Zirou was from the Yun family, however, he still placed her focus on Lu Yu. Yun Zirou stood on the spot and was stunned when the receptionist asked her to enter alone. At this moment, the receptionist looked at Lu Yu and said respectfully, "You must be Mr. Lu. Please follow me. I will help you with the admission procedures." Hearing this, Yun Zirou immediately looked at Lu Yu in disbelief. She did not understand how an unaffiliated person with no money or power like Lu Yu could receive such attention from the school. Lu Yu nodded slightly. He was not surprised. After all, he had become famous throughout the entire state. Those who stayed home cultivating all day usually didn't watch the news or online videos. Thus, it wasn't surprising that they didn't know him at all. However, Clannorth University was a renowned school. They must have acknowledged Lu Yu's strength in every aspect. "Okay, then I'll have to trouble you to lead the way." Hearing this, the receptionist had a flattering smile on his face. "Please follow me." Yun Zirou did not understand and quickly asked, "Why is he personally received by you but I am not? Is my family not worthy of your attention?" The receptionist smiled helplessly. "Miss Yun, how many families in the country do you think are stronger than Clannorth University?" Yun Zirou was stunned when she heard this question. The talents that Clannorth University nurtured were from all walks of life. In terms of influence, they weren't afraid of nobody. The receptionist continued, "For a university, outstanding students are the most important thing to us. This is what represents the strength of a university. So, we don't care about your background. As long as you are strong enough, I will take you seriously." Hearing this, Yun Zirou was speechless. Indeed, Lu Yu was stronger than her, so it was reasonable for him to be more well received than her, but she didn't know at what level Lu Yu was compared to the whole freshman class. Lu Yu looked at Yun Zirou, who was shocked by the receptionist's words and had lowered her head. He said with a smile, "Come to the admission with me. It would be fine to have one more person with me." Hearing this, Yun Zirou immediately revealed an excited smile. "That's great. Don't mind if I bask in your glory." Yun Zirou happily followed behind Lu Yu. The two of them followed the receptionist into the campus. When the other freshmen saw this, they were all stunned. The fact that the daughter of the Yun family was ignored in favor of the man was enough to prove that person's strength. The new students discussed it animatedly. Many of them sighed as they understood they weren't worthy of having the chance to win Yun Zirou's heart. Those who could gather at this university were all the top talents in the country. However, even such a group of top talents would still have some strength differences. When the new students entered the university, Clannorth University would give them a ranking list to let them strive for the top and stimulate their motivation to improve. The receptionist brought Lu Yu to a luxurious car and opened the door. "Mr. Lu, please come in." Lu Yu and Yun Zirou sat in the back seat together. The receptionist who was sitting in the passenger seat continued, "Student Lu Yu, Clannorth University has a ranking list for new students. Currently, number 1 on the ranking list is a person called Lu Xiao. However, as long as you enter Clannorth University, you will be number 1 on the ranking list for new students." When Yun Zirou heard this, her eyes widened. She did not expect that the extra person she had casually stopped back then would be the number 1 student in the entire university. Lu Yu only smiled faintly. "The ranking is made by you all. I don't mind it." The car drove towards the edge of the campus, causing Yun Zirou to be somewhat puzzled. "Shouldn't we head to the main campus? Why are we heading to the students' residential area?" The receptionist replied, "The school has prepared a luxurious villa for Lu Yu here so he can cultivate well while in school." Hearing this, Yun Zirou was shocked once again. She was a young lady from a prominent family. But when she came in, she could only live in an apartment, but Lu Yu was arranged so that he could live in a large villa alone. This was too ridiculous. "Villa? You guys actually assigned a villa to Lu Yu?" Yun Zirou asked in disbelief. The receptionist nodded slightly. "Not only that but the car we are sitting in is also prepared for Lu Yu." Yun Zirou exclaimed again, "This car is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It can protect against magic, sharp weapons, poison gas, and so on. Moreover, the materials used to build this car are the best in the world. It seems that you understand very well. From now on, this car will be Lu Yu's vehicle. Zirou slumped in her seat. She felt that what she had just heard was unreal. She glanced at Lu Yu and found that he was unusually calm. In fact, Lu Yu himself was also a little surprised. He did not expect Clannorth University to value him so much and give him this many privileges. However, he could guess some of the reasons. Without a doubt, his strength was the strongest among all the freshmen, but there was no need to give him such special privileges. Lu Yu guessed that the school deliberately made him a target to attract the jealousy of the other freshmen. This way, they could determine his true level as the strongest freshman. However, Lu Yu did not care about this at all. He could already foresee that when he moved into the villa, many freshmen would come to challenge him out of jealousy, but would a true powerhouse care about these challenges? Lu Yu thought about it for a while and did not say anything more. The car soon arrived in front of a beautiful villa. The three of them got off the car and arrived at the villa's main entrance. As they stood at the entrance, they could smell the fragrance of flowers coming from inside. Looking through the fence door, they saw a beautiful sea of flowers. All kinds of flowers were blooming, and it was stunning. Zirou looked at the front yard of the dreamlike villa, and her eyes were filled with happiness. If only I could live in this villa. This is too beautiful. It's even more beautiful than the one in my house. That the receptionist took out a bunch of keys and handed them to Lu Yu. From now on, this villa will be yours while you are in school. Lu Yu took the keys and asked, in other words, from now on, I can manage this villa as I please. The receptionist nodded slightly. Lu Yu said without hesitation, that's good. This villa is too big. I'm not used to living alone. Zirou, come and live with me. Hearing this, Zirou, who was standing at the side, was stunned. Was this an invitation to live with him? 57 Chapter 57 Eye-Catching Luxury Treatment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 57 Eye-Catching Luxury Treatment. Lu Yu suggested to Zirou that she should also move into the villa. Lu Yu felt he wouldn't get used to living in this three-story villa alone. The receptionist nodded slightly. Of course, you may use this villa however you please. Anyone can move in as long as you allow them. Lu Yu looked at Zirou and asked, do you want to? Zirou nodded shyly and gently. Lu Yu did not say anything else. He took the key and opened the door, walking straight in. The two of them walked in the sea of flowers and toward the villa in a very romantic manner. However, this scene was secretly recorded by a freshman not far away. After recording it, he directly sent the video to a group of freshmen. At the same time, he sent a string of messages. Shocking, this fellow, who is also a new student, actually moved into a villa. The most important thing is that Zirou moved in with him. A man and a woman, alone in the house every day. If nothing happened, it would be impossible. After this video was posted, it immediately incited lots of discussion. What? On what basis? On what basis can he live in a villa like this? We're both freshmen. We haven't even started the enrollment ceremony yet, and he already has such special privileges. Living in a luxurious villa with a beauty accompanying him, is he here to enjoy? My goddess, why are you living with someone else? I can't accept it. Following that, a large group of people tagged the group leader, who was the number one on the freshman roll, Lu Xiao. Bro, someone is challenging your authority. Bro, we have to teach this fellow a lesson. He's being so pretentious. Teach that bastard a good lesson. I'm going to die of jealousy. We have to stop him before something happens between the two of them. At that moment, Lu Xiao messaged the group. Fuck. I just found out that someone else ranked first on the freshman roll. Bro, who's that guy? A guy named Lu Yu. At this moment, the person who had just posted the video quickly commented, the person who lives in the villa with Zirou is called Lu Yu. This sentence immediately blew up in the group chat. In particular, Lu Xiao was so angry that he wanted to smash his phone. He had pursued Zirou for a very long time, but he had never received a response. Zirou and his position as number one on the freshman roll had been snatched away by the same person, Lu Yu. Most importantly, he even lived in a high-end villa equipped with a luxury car. Under such circumstances, it was impossible for him not to lose his temper. Fuck. I want to kill this guy. Lu Xiao angrily posted this comment, which immediately caused countless followers to resonate with him. Boss, we'll go with you. This guy is too infuriating. What right does he have to live in a villa and drive a luxury car? I want to go too. We must teach this guy a lesson and let him know who the boss is. In an instant, a group of people moved out and quickly gathered near the villa. The leader, Lu Xiao, was a 1.8 m tall guy with explosive muscles all over his body. Even his face was full of muscles, and he looked extremely vicious. Come with me. We have to cripple that guy. Lu Xiao took the lead and rushed toward Lu Yu's villa. However, they faced an obstacle when they reached the main entrance. It appears that 2 bodyguards were standing at the entrance. The strength of these 2 bodyguards was definitely not something that freshmen like them could afford to provoke. After all, this was Clanorth University. Hey, we want to go in. Open the door. Lu Xiao ordered with a displeased expression. The bodyguard glanced at him and said disdainfully, I advise you to hurry back. This is not a place where you should be. Lu Xiao took a step forward in an imposing manner. Are you going to open it or not? The bodyguard narrowed his eyes. Without saying a word more, he punched Lu Xiao's abdomen with lightning speed. With just a casual punch, Lu Xiao was sent rolling on the ground with cold sweat on his head. Fuck, I can't believe they actually did it. The underlings of Lu Xiao quickly came over and helped him up. Bro, it's fine if we can't go in. I don't believe that guy will stay at home forever. Let's wait for him. An underling beside him said, if I could live with Zirou, I would stay at home for the rest of my life. The others were silent for a while. Ultimately, they walked to the opposite side of the road and found a spot to sit down. Inside the villa, Lu Yu and Zirou had just finished touring the entire villa. Both of them were in a good mood. The interior of the villa was simple yet elegant. It was very suitable for the younger generations to live in. Zirou chose a room on the first floor and placed her luggage inside. Lu Yu did not have much personal luggage, but the villa had ready-made ones. At this moment, the receptionist smiled and said, Lu Yu, the school has also prepared a private training ground for you. If you want to train, you can go over. As he said this, he took out another set of keys. Lu Yu took it and said, no problem. Thank you for your hard work. Seeing Lu Yu's calm reaction, the receptionist was a little surprised. According to the information he got, Lu Yu was just a child from an ordinary family, and his parents had both died. But here he was, not having any special reaction to these luxurious mansions and cars. The receptionist didn't get in the way anymore. He left the villa and let Lu Yu explore the rest of his university life. How about going to the training ground? Lu Yu asked. This was what he cared about the most. He didn't care about the villa or the luxury car. The improvement of his strength was what he cared about the most. After all, as long as he had the strength, these things would come naturally. Zirou said reluctantly, I haven't seen the backyard yet. But I'll go with you since you want to go. Zirou revealed a cute smile. She didn't have the arrogance of a wealthy young lady. The two of them went to the garage and sat in the limousine, and Lu Yu drove the car out of the villa. Lu Xiao and the others gathered at the villa's entrance and saw Lu Yu coming out. They all got anxious and rushed toward the limousine. Lu Yu saw a few people rushing over in the rearview mirror. Some of the faces he saw were at the school gate. It seemed that these people were all new students. If that was the case, then Lu Yu knew why they were chasing after him. They must be dissatisfied with Lu Yu's privileges, so they came here to seek demands. From the anger on the leader's face, it was obvious they weren't friendly. Lu Yu could not be bothered by these people. He immediately stepped on the accelerator, and the car rushed out. Lu Xiao and the others ran a few more steps before stopping. The group of people choked on the exhaust gas and coughed. Everyone looked at the back of the luxury car inside. We are all top scorers, but why is the gap between us so huge? I remember that luxury car is worth hundreds of millions. We wouldn't be able to break through the defense of the luxury car alone. Who is Lu Yu? Does anyone know him? Why does he have such special treatment? Lu Xiao looked at the shadow of the luxury car coldly and clenched his fists. Fuck. Sooner or later, I will snatch Zirou back. A beauty like her can only be matched with someone like me. 58 Chapter 58 Recording of Lu Yu Collapsing a Mountain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 58 Recording of Lu Yu Collapsing a Mountain. Lu drove the car to the training ground with Zirou in it. The training ground that the school had assigned to Lu Yu was the same as a traditional martial arts ground. It occupied an area as big as a stadium, such ample space could accommodate hundreds of cultivators to train together. But now, this training ground only belongs to Lu Yu. The two of them stood in the center of the dojo, surrounded by all kinds of equipment for Lu Yu to train with. Zirou scanned her surroundings, feeling somewhat excited. Typically, a dojo like this would be allocated to at least 50 students to use together. However, Lu Yu could enjoy an entire dojo by himself. It really shows the importance the university placed on him. Zirou took out her phone and said, "Lu Yu, our batch of freshmen has created a group. You can join too." Lu Yu took out his phone and joined the group chat. There were only 200 to 300 freshmen this year, only 4 training grounds were allocated to these freshmen, and Lu Yu could use 1 training ground for himself. The difference between their treatments was huge. Lu Yu found a chair and sat down. He opened the group chat. He realized that the new students were already chatting enthusiastically. Most of them were sharing the photos they had taken. All kinds of photos were shared. There were photos of the school building, the entertainment area, and the cafeteria. Of course, there were also photos of the training grounds. However, the photos of the training grounds were all filled with people training diligently. These top geniuses of the country were all extremely hardworking. Even when they had just arrived at a new school, they didn't miss out on training. Lu Yu looked at the photos of the training ground and realized that the space wasn't as big as the one he was in. There wasn't even that much equipment. It seemed that his training ground was specially built. It was far from the other training grounds, even in terms of geography. Lu Yu put down his phone and looked at the equipment around him, planning to start his training. At that moment, a notification popped up on Lu Yu's phone. He picked it up and saw a message from Qing. Since the end of the exam, he had not seen her much. It seems that Qing was also in the new student group, and Clannorth University had accepted her. Qing texted, "In our school, it seems that only the 2 of us have entered Clannorth University." Reading the message she sent, Lu Yu replied, "Looks like there's fate for both of us. Let's meet whenever we are free." Qing texted again, "Oh right, I'm training in the training ground. You should come along too. I want to spar with you one-on-one to see how strong you are. Why don't you come to my training ground?" Lu Yu suggested. Qing asked, "Isn't it the same?" Lu Yu didn't reply, only picking up his phone, taking a few photos of his training ground, and sending them over after that. Qing didn't reply for a long time. After waiting for quite some time, she replied, "Which training ground are you in? There's no one there. Also, this training ground is more luxurious and has more space. It doesn't look like a training ground for new students." Lu Yu replied, "This is my exclusive training ground." On the other end of the phone, Qing was stunned. Did Lu Yu just mention he had his own exclusive training ground? Although she was a little surprised, she quickly agreed to go over. Why would she want to cram over here if she could go to a spacious training ground? Soon, Qing took the school bus and arrived at the training ground where Lu Yu was. Lu Yu stood at the entrance of the training ground, waiting for Qing to arrive. The scene of the 2 meeting was secretly recorded by a new student and sent to the class group. When the picture of Lu Yu and Qing entering the training ground appeared in the class group, it instantly caused a wave of discussion. What's this picture? Why did these 2 go to a training ground we don't know of? Are they new students? These 2 are freshmen. The girl's name is Qing. She's the school belle of a certain high school in Southern Railer State. She's cute, pretty, and I hear she's kind and generous. Fuck, isn't this guy Lu Yu? He's also a freshman. How is it possible that he was assigned a villa, a luxury car, and a training hall? Huh? Really? Why is he given so much? Not only that, he even moved in with goddess Zirou. I'm so angry. Who is this guy? How could he get so many good things? Is he getting girls assigned to him too? This isn't fair. I want to protest. I refuse to accept it. What right does he have to enjoy special privileges? I want to challenge him. At this moment, Lu Xiao took the lead in sending a message to the group. This is too unfair. We should go to the school and debate with them. That guy doesn't deserve this many good things, a luxurious villa, a car, a private training hall, and two peerless beauties together. All of this made the other freshmen angry with jealousy. Quickly, they gathered 50 to 60 people and went to the academic affairs office together, hoping to get an explanation from the school. Soon, they arrived at the academic affairs office and entered the office of the Dean of Education. Teacher. We need an explanation. We want to protest. Then, Lu Xiao took the lead and rushed in, making the dean jolt from shock. What are you all doing? What do you want, barging into my office? The dean's berating made Lu Xiao shrink. He said in a soft voice, Sir, we have an opinion. The dean snorted coldly, If you have an opinion, just say it. What is it? Lu Xiao continued, We feel that it's unfair. Why is it that that fellow called Lu Yu is enjoying so many privileges while we can't? Hearing this, the dean coldly laughed, Just because of this? Are you guys jealous that he is enjoying some privileges? Lu Xiao repeatedly nodded, That's right. It's because of this. The freshman who followed behind him also nodded, That's right. This is too unfair to us. The dean picked up a tablet on the table. After searching for a while, he played a video. If you think it's unfair, then take a look at this video. After you watch it, you'll have nothing to say. Lu Xiao and the others didn't believe him and looked at the tablet together. The video showed the moment when Lu Yu won the college entrance examination. At that moment, Lu Yu used his dragon skill, Dragon Fist, to destroy half of the mountain with one punch. The terrifying power was like an earthquake. When they saw Lu Yu smash the ground with a punch, causing half of the mountain to collapse, their jaws dropped in shock. This kind of power was something that they would never dare to dream about. It was simply too ridiculous. Look at his performance in the college entrance examination, then go back and look at yours. What right do you have to come and ask me for an explanation? The Dean of Education berated. The freshmen looked at each other, realizing that none of them were capable of such a powerful attack. At that moment, everyone lowered their heads and kept silent. 59 Chapter 59 Meeting Su Qing, Dragon's Treasure Chest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 59 Meeting Su Qing, Dragon's Treasure Chest. That video made all the freshmen present speechless. Only Lu Xiao's eyes were cold. He felt that there was definitely something wrong with this video. This punch was not something that a person of their age could do, therefore, he was confident that Lu Yu had used some special shenanigans to fool everyone. This video was definitely fake. The dean waved his hand and said, Go back and train. Stop this nonsense too. The freshman ceremony is about to start. If you guys make a mistake at this juncture, you will not be able to enjoy your university life in the future. The dean's berating caused the freshmen to disperse quickly and leave the office. After leaving the office, Lu Xiao was unwilling to give up. He was sure that the video just now was a fake. It was definitely a composite. Just looking at that mountain, even if 10 of him were to punch it at the same time, it would still be impossible to create such power. Therefore, he was certain that there was definitely something else behind this. However, he doesn't know what it was that Lu Yu did. As he pondered, he came to the school's archives, where all the students' personal files were stored. Inside it was a recording of all the students' personal information. The information of each batch of new students would be stored in a small archives room. After the verification was completed, they would be transferred to the main archives room. Lu Xiao came to the door of the archives room and found that it was locked. He could not open it. Just as he felt it was pointless and was about to leave, a middle-aged woman walked towards the archives room. Seeing this, Lu Xiao quickly used an invisibility skill that he had learned. After hiding himself, he followed the woman into the archives room. The woman took the file she wanted while Lu Xiao stayed inside. He rummaged through the cabinets and quickly found Lu Yu's personal file. He was full of excitement as he opened the file. He read the whole file from beginning to end and found nothing special about Lu Yu. It was just an ordinary person from an average family. this made him feel puzzled. How could such an ordinary family enter Clannorth University? After thinking for a moment, he came to a conclusion. His gaze landed on the column of his parents. Lu Yu had no parents, so he came up with a possibility. Perhaps Lu Yu's parents were martyrs who sacrificed themselves. That was why he was accepted and received special treatment. This was the only possibility he could think of. Otherwise, a person from an ordinary family would not be able to enter Clannorth University. After coming to this conclusion, Lu Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that Lu Yu had come through a back door. It would seem that this fellow's strength was average. When an opportunity arises to challenge him, he would be able to easily take back the number 1 spot on the freshman roll. With this thought in mind, Lu Xiao left the archives room with a satisfied smile. On the other hand, Lu Yu brought Su Qing into his personal training hall. Su Qing looked at the spacious hall and exclaimed in surprise. "It's so empty and so big. It's so great that you get to train here alone." Lu Yu replied indifferently, "It's fine. I still have my personal villa and car. In comparison, a training hall is insignificant." To Lu Yu, a training hall was useless. He was a man who preferred actual combat. Training against dummies was boring. When Su Qing heard Lu Yu's words, she immediately pursed her lips. "You are being a little ungrateful here. How can such a big hall look insignificant in your eyes?" Lu Yu shrugged. "That's how it is." At that moment, Zirou walked over to Lu Yu. When Su Qing saw another beautiful woman walking over, she was instantly curious. She was very interested in the relationship between this girl and Lu Yu. When Lu Yu saw Zirou walking over, he quickly introduced her. "This is Zirou. She's a friend I met on the way here." When she heard this, Su Qing heaved a sigh of relief and shook hands with Zirou. "Hello." After Zirou greeted her, she looked at Lu Yu and said, "She's beautiful." "Who is she?" "She's from the same school as me. She's the school belle." Zirou nodded slightly. She's indeed worthy of being the school belle. For Lu Yu, he was relieved to see that the two of them were friendly with each other. If the two of them did not get along, it would be awkward for him to be in the middle. Zirou and Su Qing began to chat with each other. Women always had more topics to talk to each other about. Soon, the two began to talk about their makeup, clothes, family background, and training experiences. They talked about everything and soon became good friends. As for Lu Yu, he began to train. He found a training dummy and began to attack the dummy. Of course, he wasn't training to improve his offensive skills, but to complete today's mission. Lu Yu swung his claws at the dummy with all his might. Soon, 100 swings were completed. Beads of sweat appeared on Lu Yu's forehead, but his breathing only panted a little. This level of exercise was too easy for him. Congratulations on completing the daily mission. Swing claws, 100/100. Please choose your reward. Lu Yu received 5 free attribute points for the previous 2 days of daily missions, which was negligible. Today, Lu Yu decided to gamble and open a treasure chest. The treasure chest for daily quests depends on luck. If he was unlucky, he might not be able to open anything, but if he was lucky, he could obtain good items. Exchanging for a treasure chest. In the process of exchanging for a treasure chest. Congratulations on obtaining Dragon Treasure Chest. Dragon Treasure Chest. There is a chance to obtain equipment or skills exclusive to the dragon attribute. Lu Yu was overjoyed when he saw this description. This was the first time he had gotten a dragon's treasure chest. He had never had one before. Lu Yu did not hesitate and quickly opened the dragon's treasure chest. He was filled with anticipation as he waited for the reward to appear. Soon, a ray of light flashed, and a stone tablet appeared in Lu Yu's hand. This was a skill stone tablet, and it was different from a typical stone tablet. There were dragon scales on it, and its overall color was slightly red. Lu Yu sent his consciousness into it and saw the information on this skill tablet. Dragon's Might, passive skill. Release Dragon's Might within a radius of 500 meters. It can intimidate weak creatures and make them unable to approach you. It can also give weak cultivators a sense of oppression and make them feel afraid. It seemed that this skill was beneficial. With this skill in the future, he would no longer be afraid of small fry coming up to provoke him. After learning this skill, he did not even need to move to scare the enemy away. It was very useful. Very quickly, Lu Yu learned the Dragon's Might skill, and the stone tablet was rendered useless. After learning the skill, Lu Yu began to try and release the skill he had just learned. 60 Chapter 60 The Special Delicacies of a Top University. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 60 The Special Delicacies of a Top University. Lu Yu learned a new skill, Dragon's Might. As it was a passive skill, Lu Yu could not take the initiative to train it. He could only enhance it over and over again through actual combat. After obtaining today's reward, Lu Yu had no reason to stay here anymore. He did not want to continue fighting the dummies. If he had the time, why shouldn't he spend it by having dinner with the two beauties? Lu Yu stood up and walked toward Yun Zirou. When he got closer, Lu Yu realized that the two of them were still chatting passionately. The two of them were talking excitedly about how to become stronger, how to maintain their skin, and what clothes to wear to look good. Lu Yu walked over and interrupted the two of them. It's time to have dinner. Let's go. Yun Zirou looked out the window and said in surprise, it's already dark. We've been chatting for so long. Su Qing nodded slightly. Yeah, time flies. Zirou, let's go have dinner together. The two stood up simultaneously and held each other's hands as they walked toward the door. Lu Yu was a little speechless. He had been Su Qing's classmate for so long, and they weren't this close. These two ladies just chatted for an entire afternoon, and they became such good friends. Lu Yu followed them, and the three of them got into the car and drove to the campus. The campus was peaceful and beautiful. The landscaping was also spectacular. The students walking on the campus road all had smiles on their faces. However, when they saw Lu Yu's luxury car pass by, they would all look over and stare at it with envy. The luxury car assigned to Lu Yu was even more luxurious than the cars used by some of the world's wealthiest people. Those who could drive such a car on campus were definitely not ordinary. Lu Yu drove the car and arrived at the school cafeteria entrance under everyone's gaze. The cafeteria was quite large. It was 3 stories tall, and its total area was equivalent to half of a small district. Lu Yu opened the car door and walked out. Everyone looked over, wanting to see who the big shot in the car was. Whoa, he's so handsome. Some girls exclaimed with starry eyes. He's powerful, rich, and so handsome. It would be great if he could be with me. Which prominent family is he from? He looks so young. Everyone was startled by his appearance and started to discuss it amongst themselves. Lu Yu didn't waste any time and walked toward the entrance of the canteen. The door opened as Yun Zirou and Su Qing got out of the car, quickly following behind Lu Yu. When everyone saw Yun Zirou, they were shocked once again. Isn't she the young lady of the Yun family? Is she following this mysterious man? If that's the case, he is not someone normal. Damn, I would laugh in my dreams if I had 2 beautiful women by my side. I've long heard that the young lady of the Yun family is like a goddess. It seems that it wasn't an exaggeration, now that I finally get to look at her. 2 beautiful women, one cold and mighty, while the other is cute and lively. This guy basically won at life. Countless gazes looked at Lu Yu enviously. In order to avoid a commotion, Lu Yu hurriedly walked into the cafeteria. After entering the cafeteria, Lu Yu couldn't help but complain, I won't be bringing the 2 of you with me anymore. You 2 are too eye-catching. Yun Zirou said unhappily, the most eye-catching is obviously the car you drive. That's a luxury car that only the school leaders can drive. Su Qing whispered to Lu Yu from the side, I think the most eye-catching thing is your face. Lu Yu sighed helplessly and began to stroll around the cafeteria. The 3 of them walked around the first floor and realized there were many varieties, so many that he was getting dizzy looking at them. Deep cave giant lizard meat braised with cactus cauliflower, priced at $1,000. It can increase attack power by 30 points and last for 1 day after eating it. Shadow cat demon meat braised with green fairy vine. It increases maximum mana by 30 points, speed by 20 points, and lasts for 1 day. It's also priced at $1,000. Lu Yu looked at them one by one. There were stews of wild giant oxen, roasted mammoth thighs, and stewed golden-winged eagles. under conventional cooking methods, the meat from ferocious beasts could produce many different dishes. Moreover, they could provide some kind of different effect after eating each of them, but of course, it could only have one effect at a time. Lu Yu looked at Yun Zirou and Su Qing. He asked, "What do you two want to eat?" Yun Zirou pointed to a restaurant. "This restaurant sells frost dragon meat. Let's eat this. It's summer, and eating this can cool us down for a day." Hearing this, Su Qing also looked at the restaurant excitedly. "I've heard that when you eat the frost dragon meat, there will be a layer of frost on you. However, as long as it is prepared under the hands of a master who is proficient in chef skills, this negative frost effect will become a cooling effect." Hearing Su Qing's introduction, Lu Yu got curious too. The three of them entered the restaurant together and walked to the counter. However, as soon as they came over, Lu Yu saw the price of the frost dragon meat rice. It was $100,000 for a plate. However, Lu Yu did not think much of it. Now that he had received a subsidy from the school, he did not lack this little bit of money. However, asking for $100,000 for a plate of food was still a little ridiculous. After Lu Yu paid, the three began eating the frost dragon meat rice. As soon as they took the first bite, Lu Yu felt a wave of coolness fill his chest. The summer heat was instantly swept away, and not the slightest bit of heat was left. Very quickly, they finished up the entire meal. Lu Yu checked on his status and found that he had gained a layer of effect, ice-cold status, unaffected by high temperature. 10% fire resistance. Duration, 1 week. Seeing this status, Lu Yu finally understood why it costs $100,000. 10% fire resistance was decent and could also provide a comfortable cooling feeling. It was a proper meal for summer. It would also last a week, which was much longer than the other effects. After the three of them finished eating, they left the canteen. Although they had only explored a small part of the vast cafeteria, it was getting late. The rest could only be explored in the future. After returning to the car, Lu Yu asked, "Su Qing, why don't I send you to the dormitory first?" Su Qing nodded slightly. "Okay." At this moment, Yun Zirou said, "Why don't you let Su Qing stay in the villa as well? There are so many rooms in the villa, and it would be a pity if it were empty." Lu Yu looked at Su Qing and asked, "Do you want to stay in the villa together?" Lu Yu would be happy if Su Qing stayed in the villa. After all, living with another person he knew wouldn't be boring. Su Qing was a little shy when she heard this. Living in the same house with a handsome man was a big step for her. After some hesitation, she nodded and agreed. "Alright, then I'll go back with you guys." Lu Yu heard this and stepped on the gas pedal, driving toward his villa. As they got away from the school district, fewer students were on the road. When they reached the villa's entrance, they were the only people around this area.